Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. It is Angela, the Traveling Crafter, and today is day number 5 of the 100-day challenge, ATH, which stands for Around the House. And the whole premise is it's an open collaboration for anyone and everyone to participate in. The list of all of the participants that I have to date is in the description box, so go check out all of their videos. And it's really, you don't have to do all 100 days. You can follow along with me. You can do them in order, or you can just pick one and do it whenever you want. But the premise is that you're having fun, that we're kind of getting back to the origin of junk journals, which is junk. And I think a lot of times we forget that and we use all the fancy tools. And so I am trying my best to show you things that are either, all of which are in your house, and try to use minimal amounts of all the fancy schmancy stuff. Now, sometimes I will, but for the most part, I'll try not to. But today we're talking about transparencies. So let's just be transparent, aren't I? I know, but don't bump. I don't really know where we're going to go with this. Because here is what I am finding by doing these projects. And if you guys are following along and you're watching this, tell me what your thoughts are. But I decided, okay, well, let me think about, I've done things with transparencies. What should I do that's different? Well, then I started playing with this stuff and then I couldn't stop. So what I'm finding is that it's unleashing a lot of creativity. And gosh, I thought I, had enough creative ideas in my brain to begin with, but when you really get back to basics, you find a whole lot more that you didn't even know about. So I'd say give it a try. All right, so I'm just going to go through a few things. I'll move all of this off the desk, and then we're going to play with a few things. I think I have about 15 or so ideas. So one, let's just talk transparent. Now this is a leftover parchment paper from when I was doing coffee dyeing, and this batch I happen to do in the oven, and it is transparent. So wax paper, parchment paper like this, use it. I stuck a piece of this is some kind of vintage book page, and just folded it over both sides and sewed it up. You could make it into a pocket, all kinds of fun things. And the most basic that everyone probably has is just old packaging. So I've got plenty of options right here. And in fact, it looks like I've used a chunk of this. Oh, I bet I used it when, I'll show you, for a variety of projects. No, it's not as heavy as like a real transparency film, but not everybody has transparency film hanging around. So save these, because some of these other projects that I'm going to show you, you can use these just as well as you can use some of the other ones. Okay? Okay. So let me see if I have one that's here. This one's a good one, I think. We'll use that one. Okay. So we're going to keep this aside because I think that we can use it for something in just a second. So one of the things that I have a lot of are these page protectors for scrapbooks that I don't, I was like, what is that noise? That I don't really utilize. So I use these, I just stuck a bunch of stuff in here, but I use these as ephemera holders, and I stick them in, a binder, or I use them in my, excuse me, what do you call that thing? My template binders. And the other thing that you can do, just to recycle, if you don't have a binder, let's just take this little bag right here. And let's just say, somewhere in here I made pockets with plastic. This is just my, right here. So this is something I'm going to show you in a minute, but essentially what I did was turn it into, like, this would be great for stamps. So these all open up, and they're real shallow. Okay. Well, that one's not. Must not have got glued down, but you get the gist. I'm going to leave that in there. So what you could do, if you so chose, let's see, there's another one like that. Do I have a blank page in this book? No. There we go, this one is. All right, so all you need to do if you want to make something, now if you have, you could sew this in if you have a sewing machine, but let's pretend you don't. So you can put this right on the page just like this, and then stick goodies inside of it as well. So, you know, we're putting just a few things in here that we got on hand, and then we want to save them. And there you go, voila. So let's just stick this in there. Now, what do I think will hold this down? I'm going with art glitter glue. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you something that probably will work better. If you have glue and that's all you got, use that. But what we are going to use is, we're just going to use this because it's handy. It's handy. Okay, there we go. Let me just push this way up there. Maybe. So I hope you guys are having fun with this and you're trying out some of these things. Like I said, I kind of decided to do this because I needed the challenge to kind of get back to basics. I've been using just my stash and have been doing fairly well at that. And make sure I don't do this on the wrong side. Okay, it goes that way. And, but I just felt like, gosh, I could do better. I could do better. And, you know, when I started junk journaling, I was truly using junk. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with all of you. And I am blessed enough to have some new friends following along that are just discovering junk journaling and are just exploring and are watching my videos. And I wanted to make sure that they had the chance to start fresh with some of the easy ways to use what you got. Because one of my, I will, you know, I don't really have a lot of regrets, but if I had to say one of my crafting regrets is that when I started into this, I got really gung-ho. And man, did I go crazy. All I'm doing, by the way, if you have double-sided tape, is I'm just kind of pressing that down, so when I remove this part, it will just come up much easier. Is I would go to a thrift store, or I would see something, you know, at a store that I swore I had to have. Okay, all you're going to do is take off all of those sides. Wait. Please, God, tell me I didn't do that wrong. Oh, no, I'm good. And I just bought stuff I did not need. And then now I'm in the situation where I'm having live sales because guess what? I need to get rid of some of them. There you go. Now you have instant storage. Voila. And if you didn't notice, I did leave the back open so I could pop things in there too. Some much smaller things, but it works. So there you go. Another use for transparencies or transparent items. You know, you could use those in a junk journal too. They don't just have to be for storage. So it's fabulous. One thing you might have is vellum or something similar to it. This is one of my digitals that I just finished. Let's see, when is this coming out? I will have this up before this airs. So this is on my Ko-fi shop, which is in the description, and as well as Etsy. So you can find it in both places. But if you have a printer, you know, don't hesitate to print on some of these things. You can print actually on transparencies too, if you have a laser jet printer. I have an inkjet printer. So what happens if, just a word of caution, if you print on transparency paper with an inkjet. Of course, I've tried it, and I've tried it more than once, thinking, I don't know if I think I'm going to get a different result. Isn't that the definition of insanity? But you don't. It still will run, so you have to have a laser jet. But this is a good alternative. And if you, I've done videos on this before about how to print. If you have, like, say, parchment, you can use a repositionable spray adhesive, put it on a piece of regular printer paper, you know, copy paper, and then print that way as well. Lickety split. But I will have these up for you. I love these. So, for example, what we're just going to do, and I'm not even going to, we're going to use all of these in the journal, well, a journal that we're going to put together for this. So, let's see. We're just going to fold them up because we got to start having some pages. And that reminds me. Let's see. Today is transparencies. Tomorrow is labels. And I noticed when I generated this list, I must not have been specific enough because I see that labels is on there again. So now I got to think of another thing, but I think I've got a good idea. So tomorrow is labels, and then the next day, easy peasy lemon squeezy, is scrap paper. So what I would tell you is, if you say, well, I don't have scrap paper, like I haven't done any projects, start looking around your house, look at magazines, look at old mail, things like that. We'll use this in our journal as well. I'll just fold it now. And I didn't get any feedback on which journal to use, so I have a couple of thoughts. One is I can use, I think it would have to be that larger one. And then the other thing is I have several journals that I need to fill, so we could probably do those too. All right, this is the very same. It's called a print file archival preservers. They're from www.printfile.com. Assuming that these were, and I think you could write on these. This is like Hawaii, yeah. 2021. There you go. You know, that's what you could put all of your negatives in there. So all I did is I filled them, I measured it, I filled them with a variety of these were all scraps. This was a scrap, and then I took stickers and some washi and stamps and stuck those on there. And then I just sewed down all of those. Now, you can use glue, but it doesn't work that well, and a lot of times you can see through it. I mean, Fabri-Tac, which is a clear glue, it will work okay, but I have not had luck. It will come apart sometimes. So what you could do instead is you could glue it with your Fabri-Tac. If you had some clear tape, some washi tape, something like that, you could do the sides. But what I did is just I don't know if you can see it, but I came in just a little bit closer on the actual paper. So then when I cut them apart, let's do it this way. I don't have to worry about it coming apart, so it's all together. So now I can use that for a belly band, or I could use it as a bookmark, like I probably will with this one. On this one, I had some stamps, and so I'm just going to cut these all up, and we'll use some of these in our projects too. So I just stamped a bunch of random stamps on there. Same with this one over here. I think actually I stamped this one before I actually put the paper in there, just to see what would happen. Now, another tip is if you're using any kind of transparency or slick surface, you'll want to use a type of ink if you're stamping on it that is pigment-based, not water-based, because it will do just like what your inkjet printer will do, and that is I kind of like, I shouldn't have written on that because this is kind of cool like that. Here, let's just try this. Let's see if hand sanitizer works on Sharpie. I'll tell you what does work, because when I was teaching, when I worked for the insurance company, I had to do it. There, look at that. Well, it also takes off the white stuff. Yeah, this, and we put this on our hands. How often did we put this on our hands? I mean, geez Louise. And still do, probably. Well, that'd just take off all of that if you don't want it on there. But I'm going to leave that one on there. But the one thing that you can do is if you put Sharpie down, if you have a dry erase marker, you can put that over the top of it. And it will come right off, because I've actually used Sharpie on a dry erase board before. More than one time. You know, you get busy. So now we have belly bands. We could do all kinds of things with this. And I just showed you, you can write on this. In fact, I have something that I'll show you in a second. So you could use this as, you know, make it into something on a page. Remember, if you watched yesterday's video where I made the notebooks, you could put this around a notebook. You could make a little snap on it or a tie, and then you could open it up and people could write on it. Possibilities are endless. Now, remember when, if you watched how I made the faux ID cards? Well, I have a laminator, right? And I've had it for a bajillion years. I have two of them, a baby one and a big one. And so I laminated mine. And a lot of you were probably like, I don't have a laminator. Well, yes, you do. You have the ability to use all of these plastics as your laminator. If you have a sewing machine, bonus. I am often asked, well, what kind of sewing machine, you know, should I use, or an inexpensive one. You would be surprised at how many thrift stores have them. Ask, you know, if you're looking for a sewing machine, I would say, and I know this sounds silly, but especially if you're looking in a thrift store, just do this. It'll save you a headache. A lot of times places will say that they've tested them, but you know, you don't know. You don't want to get it home. And a lot of them say, sorry, you can't bring it back. Bring some thread and bring, well, the bobbins are different depending on it, but bring some thread, a whole thing of thread. And then ask them to try it out, and then put the thread in it, and, you know, bring a piece of fabric or some paper and try it in that. But you can get them for next to nothing. They do not need to be expensive, not fancy. And that's what I would tell you to use, your sewing paper. But just like those little things, I made these little tags, and this one says procrastinate. A verb, working on crafts when you should be doing work. So I just wrote on it so you guys could see. You can still use this as a journal card. This one I'm going to pop into my in my packing area, so I can send that out in a little piece of mail with orders. So you could use it this way. What did I use, you ask? Well, I have a plethora of these. Okay, so this one, we will use that one. I need to put in with my craft stuff. I have a plethora of business card holders. Anyone else? I don't know. I don't really have the need to keep a lot of business cards. I get them. If it's really important, I'll take a picture, or I'll give them to Dave because he likes to save them. But I don't put them in this kind of thing in my planner anymore. So what did I do? Well, I measured, and all of them are just a little bit different, but I measured the size of the opening, and I made little pieces of paper, and I popped them in there. You can see this is paper bag. These are just some little cheapy papers that I had, little tiny ones. And now you've got it. And technically, you could just leave them open at the top. I mean, I don't see why not, do you? No. And we'll just do a couple of these. Let's see if I can get this, though. The problem here is going to be here. Okay, so let's not worry about it. We will... Well, you know what we can do. I got something else that I'm doing. When am I doing that? Okay, let's just leave this open like this. Okay, another use. I think we're up to 17 different options. So what we could do with this is turn this in. Now, I would probably want to put something on the backs of... Oh, I did sew that one. Must have only sewed one of them. Doesn't matter. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to turn this into... Okay, we got to fill these pages up. I think it will work, though. I've done these before. With business cards, actually. And then we can make this into a tag. We can stick a pop-in eyelet in there. And we'll make sure the backside has... Okay, let's put a little clip on this so it... Oh, gosh, I can't... So it kind of stays together. And then I'll put this somewhere near me so we can... If we have time, we can play with it. So, there you go. Another use for your business card holders. And this one, I stamped all of this first, then I added the paper in it. So it's ready to roll as well. Okay, I don't know what number we're on, but we got a lot here. What do I want to show you next? Oh, here's a couple simple ones. So this one is, let's just pretend you have a real frame, like a small frame about this size. Those frames make really cool journal toppers, especially the ones that kind of look ornate and fancy, but they usually have glass in them and or they don't have anything in them. So what you can do is use a piece of, this one here is specifically, you know, like a laminating sheet. But if you don't have this, you can use, you know, food packaging, like, you know, the plastic things that food come in. And by the way, I think it was Barbie, but I might be wrong. Barbie, if you're watching this, tell me. I believe she said, now I don't remember what number it was, number 6, number 8, it probably does matter. Food containers. And you can make shrink art into those. I did a thing on Shrinky Dinks not so long ago. And we might keep this one out too to use. So yeah, another use for them if you didn't know. But if you put a piece of that inside of your frame where your glass would have been, it lightens the load a little bit. And then you can still have that beautiful real frame. This is just a fakey frame with a piece that I got in there. But we're going to use it in one of our projects. You can also use this to make stencils, or in this case, I'm using this as a template because, you know why, because I don't have an 1.5 inch circle punch. Hold on, where do I not have? You gotta be kidding me. I cleaned out my scraps. Hold on. Oh. But now I can just simply use my pencil. What did I use to make this 1.5 inch circle? I can't remember. Something in my craft room. Oh, the top of a... And there we go. Now I can just cut it out. And it's 1.5 inches. So this, I'm going to put up here with my other little goodies so that I know where it's at. And then we got these extra ones we can use if we so choose. Now, this is something I used, that packaging that was just leftover packaging. And this is kind of thick. It's not a very good example, but I've used these when we've made our slide mounts in the past, you know, for specimens or whatever. These are some of mine from my digital, but they work great. Another use for them. We're gonna get to doing something with these, I promise. Okay, now I also have a lot of these. I've used these just like I showed you before, putting them into some type of storage. For this one, I actually put the little tab on the top, and you can just place it. I could take these off if I wanted to, so it's not so slick, and then it will glue down really, really well. But what I did with one of these instead is I made a tag journal. So I haven't glued any of that on. All I did is I took one of these. I folded it in half because it's already telling you where you need to do your thing. And then I added some pages. Just a quick little thing. And then I added all of my tabs in it. Tabs, those would be tags. And voila, mini journal done. Like I said, I didn't glue that part down. But all I did was sew down the middle. If you don't have a sewing machine, I've shown you many times how to do the pamphlet stitch. You sew it right in by hand. That did. Another one done. That one I'm going to put over here because we probably won't use that for... Oh, no, I can't do that. I got to put these things in my... I finally got a tote that I could put everything in for all the projects. So we'll use this in something too. Okay. And we're going to use this because why not use this as a journal page? So this is another one of those 8x8 scrapbook sleeves. And all I did is cut off the bottom and cut off the side really close to the edge, which of course when we put it in the journal, depending on which journal we decide to use, we may have to cut this off a little bit. But isn't that cute? Or we could stamp on it, or we could paint on it. Tons of opportunities. So let's just stick this inside of... This is going to be a very eclectic journal, isn't it? All right, so we got that. The last thing I want to show you before we start playing is these sheets. I found this in my stash as I was looking for something else and sorting. So I thought, well, we might as well use these because, you know, you could cut a great big circle in your page and then mount that on there and have something peeking through it. Or you could use it as a journal topper and have something behind it as a pocket. So we're going to keep this and use it at some point. Not today. All right. So let's talk about the last one, and then we're going to do something. This is a sheet of clear labels. So if you ever find at the thrift store a bunch of labels, and you know, usually they're white. This one happens to be clear. I can hardly even tell where the, you know what, let's see. Because it's really hard to see on here. I think they're all the same size. So, like there. Here's one, the bottom one. There. And here. And there. Okay. And then the side is here. That just helps me because it's really hard to see. It's right where this line is, basically. I guess we can go from that. Okay. So if you have something like this, now I do have a video where we used alcohol ink and I show you all the techniques. I don't know why I have a frog mouth. I haven't even been outside today. Where I have a whole video, and I'll link it below, where I show you guys how to use alcohol ink on transparency. I didn't want to do something that I had already done before, so I'll link that one below. But what we are going to do is we're just going to play with a couple of these and just make some kind of stickers. I don't know, this one, I don't know where it's going to end up. I got this at a, it probably won't all fit on there, I think. We're going to see. Now, that one might smudge, I bet. I didn't even think about that because it's probably not, I'm going to leave it for right now. It's probably not archival ink. But this all is. So let's make some stuff. I don't know what it's going to be. I didn't get any specific stamps out. Oh, I know. I had some stamps that I found in my stash the other day. Let's see if any of those will be fun. Well, it didn't come off. Well, that's good. So now we could put that on something. Let's just do it. Here. Not that. Is this big enough? Yes. Okay, so now we got some labels. And we got this boring old... Oh, goodness. Oh, I am a little bit off. Boring old plain cardstock. Put that down like that. Oops, I got an extra piece. Oh, that's nice and straight. Not. And, well, you know what? We'll make it so it doesn't matter. And we'll just go around it like this. And now we have a cute little label, which labels is tomorrow. We could use this as a label, right? Punch a little hole in that. Zhuzh it up. Bada bing, bada boom. It's done. Ta-da. All right, let's do some more. So, how long have we been going? Oh, just 30 minutes. Okay, let's just do some rando butterflies because I've never used this. And I found it was in with my fairy stuff. So I did move it, but you know I love me some dragonflies. So, I mean, you could just have a good time with this and not even really give it a care. Although I do really like... Ooh, that's pretty. Looks like there was something else on it. I'm trying to see here. What if we do... Oh, I moved that one. It's going to be... Whoopsie daisy. I do like that. Okay, where's my... Oh, and I like it on there too. This is what I was thinking. It would be cool to put it on. Yeah. But we could always put it on the top of it, right? What did I do with that stand? I moved it all the way over here. Now, I'm going a little more... Which is the front? I better put it on here first before I try this. Yeah, looks like I need some more ink in that. That looks like it's the beginning of it, so we'll go just a little bit. There we go. Now, I know that probably looks funny to you, but it's on those lines. Okay, let's do a couple more of these pretty... I can't see. We'll do it kind of like... Ooh, Angela. Kind of like I did when I created my... That's bad, but that's okay. She's exhausted over there. Here's, how about a bee? This says it's red. It looks pink to me. Let's see. Do I have... I wonder what yellow... Well, let's do black. And we'll do a few bees. Ooh, that's cool. That's a big bee. Cute. So this is kind of the look I'm going for. Okay. Okay, what else do I have in my little bag of tricks over here? Well, that's a big one. Those are big butterflies. Do I have any cute sentiments? These are all like on your wedding day, husband and wife sending you get well wishes. Lucky to be your, wishing you the happiest birthday. So no, nothing really appropriate. I'm thinking, oh, you know what we could do? I know. Because I got them out. I got them here for another project that has nothing to do with our 100-day project. But they're handy. Hopefully they'll work. Let's do this for deposit only. We better practice on it. Oh, pay to the order of. Okay. I like that. Now, let's just try one of these, and then we'll move on to something else. You kind of get the gist. You guys don't need to watch me stamp. Now, and I know not everybody has stamps, so I won't spend forever on it, but let's get another piece of that paper out. How about, too bad I don't have a piece of yellow paper really handy. It would be cute. Oh, I do. Is that yellow? No. Let's get this one. Goodness, it's hard to see. Okay. You know, let's just say you had a stamp that was your, like a business card. You could stamp them on there and make them all pretty. So there you go. Another idea. Okay, last but not least, before we go, we're going to transform this little bad boy. So we need 4 more pieces of paper. And I'm not so sure. Do we want... Let's do something pretty on that one. On the back of these. Ooh. Let's see, there's the yellow. Oh my goodness. And that's pretty too. All right, let's do. Let me get my. Let's see. Do I remember what size these were? It was a little under 4, and then I think 2 1/8. How long is this one? Oh, way more than 4. I'm guessing on that. Okay, pop these in there. Come on now. There we go. Oh, look at that. Did. I'm kind of giving it away because we're doing something, well, a little bit different. Similar, not. Okay, so we got those. Now we need, well, we're going to leave that one like it is. This one, we need something. I don't want to leave it like it is. I kind of went pretty bright with these. I shouldn't have probably done that, but oh well. Okay, we'll do this one. I told you, it's going to be eclectic. Now, how far did I go? I don't remember. Guess we shall find out. Is that Dave home already? He said, I'm going to the store. Do your videos. Okay. We need one more. Yep, somebody's here. You know what? No, we don't. We can leave that one like that. we got these two like that. We're just doing this so that we can spearmint. Okay. So we'll make that the front. I can just use these up at another time. So what we're going to do, maybe, we are going to make these into like a tag. Like a tag? Not like a tag. We're going to make them into a tag. I think I probably need to put this on there just to keep these from all moving. Because I wasn't planning this. That went flying. We're cutting through a lot of layers. There we go. This thing's really getting ratty, but I like it like that. Okay, now we have now we need to make, hold on, let me get my punch. All right, we're going to punch through all of these. We're going to use the little one. Gosh, I hope this works. I'm just seeing where that, okay. Yep, we're good. Yeah, he must be home already. That was a quick trip to Menards, that's for sure. Okay, now let's pull this out. And we're gonna put some eyelets in there. I just happen to have these out because we're gonna be using them later. Well, not today, but another day. I'll be using them later. You will be doing this on another day. Now, again, this is something not everyone has. It's one of those nice to haves, not need to haves. Come on. Okay, let's just put this in here. You could just punch a hole in it and be done. I was thinking these strips we could stamp on or do something with later. I'm trying to save all the stuff, like put it all into items around the house are all in one little tote, and then completed projects are in another one. Then there was this like a giant fold out tag, right? Let me show you where my head's going here. I think we did these with business cards in some way, shape, or form. That was a project I did when I was at the acreage. That I do know. Okay, all done. So now we fold it all up. Yep, we sure do. And then I need, here, hang on. Let me grab this. Will this be okay? No. Hang on, let me grab something. So I want something that, well, this is handy, so this is what we're going to use. Hang on. Gosh, I hope this goes through the, it might not. I need the lighter. This is just some slickery. Oh, yep, it is him. He's telling Ruby, no barks. There we go. Wow. Is this really going to work this easy? It can't. Holy cow, it did. And then we can just put this together with a pretty little bow. Bada bing, bada boom. Done. So look at all the things. I know there was more than 15 things, but I think I'm just going to put 15 plus things to do with with transparency. To be transparent. I just cracked myself up. I hope that you enjoyed our time together. I am trying to keep these short and sweet, but that hasn't happened so far, so my apologies. But I hope you're enjoying the series and you're finding all kinds of fun things to do with all of the things around your house. So until next time, friends, remember to take time to just be, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.